Can you give him a let's go Tank Davis?
Tank Davis.
To the body. Body shot. Show him your body shot. Show him your body shot. Yeah. Good job, Nug. Good job. All right, can you close the door for me? I love you. All right. Tank Davis, you guys. How about Gervonta Tank Davis defeating Ryan Garcia, as we called it? If you've been listening to the show and you've subscribed to the channel, if you've actually been some of the hundreds of people now that our views have gone up that's been listening to the show, you guys, then you would know that we made some money, okay? A little bit of this. Rounds 7 through 12, that plus 220, they were just giving that thing away. I mean, the guy's like a minus 250 favorite to win the fight. And yet, how does he win his fights? He's a notoriously slow starter who downloads the data and wins the fights in the second half of the fight. So, picking him by KO TKO from rounds 7 to 12 for plus 220 seemed like a giveaway, and I thought it was. Let me shut this door all the way. Hold on. Seemed like a giveaway. I thought that it was, and it turned out to be. So hopefully, I mean this. I mean, I won the money. Hopefully you guys actually been watching the podcast, because we give good picks on here, you guys. I'm trying to help you win some money. Yeah. So he looked great. We took some notes. Let's go over this thing. So he wins in round 7, with a body shot, by the way. So, Ryan Garcia basically came out first round, won the first round, but slow start. And I thought that this fight would play out to where Ryan was winning all these, like a lot of these early rounds. Where we might have had it like 4-1, something like that, leading into the second half of the fight. But he wasn't able to do that. He won the first round, but it wasn't much to look at. He was being cautious as well. So both guys being cautious. But he wins the first round with the jab. Then he really kind of like, He almost lets go of the jab. That first round, the jab looked good for Ryan. But he almost kind of lets go of that more and more as the fight goes on. In the second round, he does start off stronger. So he comes out, he gets after it. And that's how I thought that this fight would play out in the beginning rounds, at least anyway, for Ryan. Was winning them by being way more active, and he was doing very well in the second round until he wasn't. He got dropped because when he caught a decent shot on Tank Davis, he really tried to unload on him, blow his load right then and there, and got a little bit reckless, and he got caught being walked right into the shot. So Tank Davis, that left hand looks very sharp. Caught Ryan coming in, because what is Gervonta Davis? We've done a lot of content, by the way, over this last week. So we did my cousin's show, the End New MMA podcast from the East Coast, professional ring announcers, MMA fighters, so on and so forth. They had me on for the big boxing event. Did my own Tank Davis episode versus Ryan Garcia that did very well. We gave you the picks on both of these several times over. Stuck to my guns and said the same way in detail about how the fight would play out. Slightly different, but yeah, it was the only nervous part for me during this fight, as far as the picks are concerned, was that, Ryan was being reckless. He got dropped and then came up, and I was like, we need you to live a couple more rounds here, buddy. But no, he Ryan made a good account of himself. He did. And I believe that this was big fight feels. Everybody that was there said so. If you saw the weigh-ins, I mean, a huge, enormous outside crowd for these things. It was a big venue, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So a lot of these things played out the way we said that they would. Gervonta Davis, pre-fight in an interview in the gym, said he got hurt to the body before. He thinks I don't know that. And I was on a Fight Hype interview. Shout out Sean Zeitel, who, by the way, this is a free shout out right here, does excellent round by round scoring that I usually tend to agree. Sean Zeitel, very good round by round scoring. A big fan of that guy. But did an interview with Tank, said, and he said, what fight was this? And he said, it wasn't a fight. It wasn't a fight. It was in sparring, It was in sparring. And word gets around, he got hurt to the body. Let's talk first, though. We want to stay in order. Let's talk about that round number 2, where Ryan Garcia is doing very well, stuns Tank a little bit, catch him with a good, gets reckless coming in, but he was winning the round previous to that, and it was more towards it, and gets dropped in round 2. So normally it'd be a 10-8 round. I'm not mad at you if you give it a 10-8 round. That's usually the go-to on the scoring, but if a guy's really winning around pretty handedly for the majority of it and then gets dropped, you could do the 10-9. That 10-10 scoring is unacceptable. The 10-10 in round 2 when Garcia gets dropped clean with a clean counter shot, unacceptable. You have to give that round. I mean, he dropped the guy. You have to give that round to Gervonta Davis or any fighter in that scenario because he dropped them. And that was, by far, obviously, right? You guys, that's the most poignant moment of the round. So that round goes to Gervonta. And then it's only up for debate. Do you score it 10-9 or do you score it 10-8 because Ryan was winning the majority of the round before that? The 10-10 is absolutely unacceptable in that case. So that covers that. Let's talk about just in general with this fight. What did both guys do that we touched on, by the way? Ryan, he didn't. There wasn't a lot of improvements here. He's a hell of a fighter. He's very fast, but wasn't a lot of boxing improvements, not defensive improvements, not footwork improvements. So Ryan, when he wants to get out of the pocket, get a little bit of distance, doesn't go one step back and to the side, doesn't angle, doesn't get off and circle, backs up in straight lines where you can just easily chase him backwards. He was doing that a lot in this fight and paid for it. The footwork in general, we're going to get to this on Tank's, what did he do good, but there's more footwork stuff that we're going to get to as far as what Tank did well. What did Ryan do well? He didn't ever stop him, not one fucking time, from putting that from an orthodox versus southpaw fighter. Never once stopped him from putting that lead foot on the outside. He just wasn't concerned with it. That's a big no-no. Other footwork stuff, didn't cut the ring off well. He more chases, side steps around, doesn't cut the ring off in the direction the fighter's going. He just chases and follows him. What did Tank do well? As always, right? The lead foot on the outside, we just said it. The whole fight, if you watch their feet, the entire fight he's putting that foot on the outside. So he's a bit off to the angle, right? He's a bit off to the angle. And then what is that? If he's off to the angle over here, what is Garcia's right hand really going to be able to do when he's off to the angle? Dips a little bit. So he's got both hands. Bop, right? Bop. He's got both hands. Ryan's hands, but Ryan's only got the left right there that's in his face to cover a little bit. He's off on the angle. That's always where you want to be in boxing. And Ryan just didn't even attempt to stop. That's the thing. You don't blame a guy if they're not on the level of somebody else yet, due to inexperience or whatever it is, or not being taught it, something like that. But you have to be taught it. You're under trainers like Eddie Reynoso and Joe Goosen now. Don't attempt to try for the majority of the fight to not allow him to put his lead foot on the outside of your lead foot. I mean, that's just basic knowledge, really. I mean, that's not saying much that people don't already or shouldn't already know, really. As usual, very composed, right? For Tank Davis. Doesn't waste punches. One of the lowest outputs as far as copy box. One of the lowest outputs of punches thrown in boxing of any weight class. And then contrary to that, one of the most accurate because he doesn't waste his punches. If he's throwing punches, he's throwing them with bad intentions to precisely land them where he wants to, and they will land. So his accuracy is incredibly good, and the composure of it all. Very accurate body shots. He places those shots well to the body. He's not, throwing them a million times per fight. He's not like a notorious body puncher, but every time that he places body shots, just like the accuracy we just talked about, all shots, so including the body shots. When he wants to go to the body, the precision placements to get him right underneath the elbow is absolutely great. And more than just a knockout punch, he went to the body here. He went to the body a lot. More than his other fights, to my eyes at least. Went to the body on Ryan Moore in this fight. And placed him under the elbow as well. Staying composed. The levels of the boxing IQ really played out for me here, right? All the things like making Ryan pay for backing up in straight lines, putting that outside lead foot on the outside of Ryan's lead foot and being off to the angle for the entirety of the fight without ever having any difficulty because Ryan did not know that you should stop letting him do that. But also, even more than just all the general, like the boxing IQ and leading Ryan into shots and liking him being aggressive as the natural counter puncher that Tank Davis is and walking him into the shots. All those things that he always does, the boxing IQ stuff in general, but also the levels of the experience of being under these kind of bright lights. That played out in front of my eyes as well. I saw that. I saw a guy that looked super calm, super nonchalant, as well as his trainer, great trainer, Calvin Ford in the corner there, not needing to say much. They're kind of just chilling. They've been here like 8 times before. This was like the 8th, headlining pay-per-view for Gervonta Davis. I mean, or 7th or something like that. Absurd. He's a proven pay-per-view star. You guys can just kick rocks on that. I mean, really, we can debate about pay-per-view numbers exactly, but he's definitely sold out arenas before. He's headlined many pay-per-views before. These things are just facts, right? And then you can debate the numbers. What exactly was the numbers? None of us can really know. So you're not going to prove me wrong, as I'm not going to prove you, and none of us know the exact numbers. But we know that he does very well on pay-per-view and has headlined many pay-per-view events before. So the bright lights, all the fans, the big arena, the big headline main card of the pay-per-view, Gervonta's been there before. Garcia has not. That showed to me. In general, like the excitement of it all, like the nerves, to the visual eye, the nerves of Garcia, even on the walkout, didn't look as confident, right, as all the nothing can stop this, nothing can stop fate, and I'm gonna. All of a sudden, even on the walkout before the fight, didn't look composed and ready, one would say. And then the fight progressed and, cautious in the first round instead of confident and coming out hot. Second round was probably told by Joe Gosen, you need to be stealing these early rounds when Gervonta gives them away. That's our chance to get over to decision. And really, you're not going to knock the guy out. Our best shot is to get to decision and hope that you're stealing so many of those early rounds that in the slow starter of Gervonta Davis that he just will give you, that we can get to the end and hopefully get a decision here. But so he's probably encouraged to go out strong and start that second round, and he did. And he did well doing so until he got a decent shot there that looked like Tank needed just a moment to kind of compose himself. And what did he do? He got carried away and walked himself recklessly right into a clean counterpunch. So That's inexperience. That's the excitement. That's not being composed. That's all that stuff that I'm kind of touching on here. And just, okay, god damn it. You guys just sometimes suck, huh? There's like talk online like, I had my friend over here. I love all my friends, man. I love my friends. But somebody that, I'll say this, my friend isn't like a casual boxing fan in the sense that he has grown up watching boxing. He's watched boxing as long as me. But man, you got to know what you're looking at there. It's like, not only him, he said it, but there's people online talking about, oh, was this fight rigged? That's the most casual shit. I almost don't even want to acknowledge it. That's such a dumb take. Yeah, this is the 1940s and the mafia's involved, and somebody paid Ryan Garcia off to take his biggest fight of his life and take a dive. The guy that made the fight, that wanted the fight, was Ryan Garcia. So this is just dumb, and it's not really worth acknowledging, but fuck it. We're bored, and that's what we're doing here on this unboxing. That's a dumb take. That's not true. There's no defense for that. That's the kind of thing that you get reamed for from hardcore boxing fans to bring up something like that. That's a bad take. You should back away from that and not do that. That's not, yeah, not even really worth acknowledging. You got to understand how liver shots work. Okay, there's this thing how body shots work. Body shots hurt. To the right, to throwing the right hand to your left side of the body, that'll hurt. If somebody throws that left to the right side of your body, that's your liver. Gets it placed right correctly, that's the liver shot. That's a notorious shot and always has been since the very first days of boxing. So hundreds of years. The liver shot is a debilitating shot that will like kind of seize your body up, basically. Like it'll seize your body up. You can't control it. All that warrior bullshit goes out the window. And it's funny to me because if somebody saw somebody get knocked unconscious because they got hit in the head, you seem to understand that you're getting your lights turned out from getting hit in your temple or your chin, and you are checked out, your lights are turned off. Everybody seems to understand how that works, where nobody goes, somebody's out cold, snoring on the floor, and nobody goes, come on, get back up. They know it's over, and you understand that you can get your light bulb turned off, but yet you don't understand the science of getting a bad liver shot landed precisely to you, where it will seize your body up. You feel like you can't breathe. You feel like you almost got kicked in the nuts a little bit. You cannot function. Also don't understand how people haven't seen this same thing over and over again. I sure have with body shots, with the liver shot. It's always a delayed reaction. It's a delayed reaction. You get hit, it's pop, 1 second, and then you'll go, oh, okay. And you back up and go, oh, fuck. And it's a couple seconds, and your body seizes up. You can't help it. There's one instance in all of time, so don't use this to your bullshit argument. There's one instance I could think of off the top of my head of somebody getting back up unexplainably from a bad liver shot, and that was Arturo Gatti against Mickey Ward. Wincing in pain, and I don't know how he did that. There aren't really other examples off the top of my head to go down. I'm sure there are, but they're probably counted on about one hand. It's very rare. You really can't fight against your body. Like willpower, warrior mentality, that stuff's in your brain. And your brain can want something, but the body can just say no. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yeah. That's free for you. That's my beautiful sultry voice for your ass right there. That's basically what I got about that. It's a bullshit thing I shouldn't have even touched on. But yeah, he lost to a liver shot. No harm, no foul. Don't blame Ryan Garcia. He certainly couldn't have helped it. Because, yeah, you just got to learn to not let those things land. You basically had to concede to letting the body shots go because he didn't want to drop his hands down to protect his body and get knocked out cold. So you basically had to concede to that. One more point on that goddamn thing, since we're already talking about this, is that you know what's worse than taking a fucking liver shot clean? Taking a liver shot clean while you're throwing your right hand and missing and not expecting it, and blasted while you're throwing a punch. That's the only thing that could make that even worse than it normally is. And that was a scenario here as well. So, yeah. I'm so fucking glad we wasted time on that. Absolute waste of time. And then the last thing we're going to say about this fight is that, was this Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis? Was this Gervonta Davis's hardest test to date? Was it? I want you to think about that. So he finishes him with a body. He drops him in round 2 when Garcia was having a little success. Got reckless, walked him into a nice clean counterpunch, and then in round 7, drops him with a bad liver shot while he's throwing and getting hit at the same time. Was this Gervonta Davis's, hardest test? No, I don't think so. I think that this was his biggest name value as far as the value of the fighter's name and Ryan Garcia that he's beat. But if you're a little bit more of a hardcore boxing fan, you'd understand that, one, Jose Pedraza, the sniper Pedraza, was a legit world champion. He was an absolutely phenomenal fighter. And the way that Tank brutalized him, and was actually, that was one of his fights where he threw way more punches and punches in combination and walked him down towards the end of it. That was impressive. But if you don't want to go with that, Isaac Cruz, who you don't appreciate, and a lot of you might not know that guy's name, was one of the 2 only fights that Gervonta hasn't finished in brutal stoppage that went all the way. The 12 rounds, and was a close fight as well. Isaac Cruz absolutely met that man's dog inside of that ring. And how about Rolly Romero? You guys remember that? Rolly Romero? I would say that out of the bigger men, like Ryan Garcia was, who hit hard, Rolly Romero, who also lacked boxing IQ and defense. Rolly Romero is another guy like that, like Ryan Garcia. And I would say that Rolly Romero actually tested Gervonta Davis more in his fight. 1 more rounds, and that's for sure. Clipped Gervonta, not just one decent time, but a few different times. Yeah, I would say that was a harder fight. I would say the Isaac Cruz fight was a harder fight. Jose Pedraza wasn't a harder fight, but it should have been. And the way that he handled that opponent was is what made it so impressive. So no, I don't think this was his hardest test at all. I don't. And yeah, let's talk. What do we got here? The aftermath of the fight. Who's next for Gervonta Davis? Everybody loves to ask. Well, if boxing worked the way that we all wanted it to, definitely he would now get the winner of Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko, where, for all those belts. But, one, because there's 2 parts on this. One, boxing doesn't really work that way. We got to wait a little bit. You guys should know this by now. Also, I guarantee you, first off, Devin Haney should win the Lomachenko fight. Break my heart. But he should win that Lomachenko fight. But win or lose, I guarantee you that directly after that fight, Devin Haney looked like he was going to die making weight last time. He looked like his dad, 30 years older instantly from being gaunt and drained like that. He is going to win or lose even. Move up, mark my words, to 140 directly after this Loma fight. If he can even make the weight this one last time. He'll move up and vacate all of those belts as the unified champion, as the undisputed champion. He will vacate all 4 of those belts and move up to 140 because he can't make the weight anymore. So unfortunately, not only for, Tank Davis, we're not going to see him fight Tank Davis. We're not going to see Devin Haney probably fight Shakur Stevenson unless it's when Stevenson tries to go up to 140. And he'll vacate those belts, and then I think that if they set Tank up with a fight, some other guy that would set him up to get all those belts or some of those belts, he'll get those because Tank Davis, could give Devin Haney a run for his money. I'm not saying I'm not comfortable saying he'd win that fight, but that is, after what I watched, more of a 50-50 fight. Closer to that than what I thought before. Where I thought for sure Devin Haney might win. No, I think that Tank could maybe get him, but we're not going to see that fight because Haney's going up to 140. And when those belts are vacated, if they give Gervonta somebody to fight for all those belts or some of those belts, whoever it is in that weight class, if his name is not Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis will run through them and KO them viciously probably and get all those belts. But he is here, Shakur Stevenson is at 135 now. And it is inevitable. It's only up to promoters and the networks and the managements of his management team and different fighters of how long we have to wait before Shakur is fighting for those belts. But once he is, it is inevitable that Shakur Stevenson will be the reigning champion for as long as he can make the weight at 135. And then one day he'll probably move up too, but I think he just moved up. He's got some fights in him here. He's going to win all those belts, and that's inevitable. It's Shakur Stevenson at the end of this video game, you guys. But yeah, it was fun. If any fucking buddy is still watching this thing, we'll real quick talk about poor Gabriel Rosado, as we said. Luckily, it wasn't a horrible knockout or anything like that, but he handedly lost most of the rounds. He won at least 2, might have got 3 rounds. He should have retired. We touched on this before. He's one of my favorite fighters. I love that fucking guy. The Puerto Rican, fuck King Gabe Rosado or whatever. The Puerto Rican Rocky is what that man is. And he should have retired though. He has fought his career as if he's some, 1970s fighter that fights every fucking person in the division and only the best. And even after back-to-back losses, will only again fight the best. This match made no sense to have him run back this guy that he miraculously beat with this fantastic counterpunch. And we all knew he couldn't do that again. And the kid would learn his lesson and he's young and he's bound to be moving past this. We all knew that, and for some reason they ran it again. How about even before this, the fight he was supposed to have was even going to be fucking worse against a ginormous Zurdo Ramirez, who only just had his first loss at the hands of a pound-for-pound Dimitri Bivol, who's at light heavyweight, a weight class up. Oh, and it's one of the biggest light heavyweights, if not the biggest light heavyweight. It's really like a natural heavyweight, really, Zurdo Ramirez. They were going to fucking feed him to that guy. He should just retire. I don't know if he's retired now. He didn't even do it yet. He should have retired before this fight, and he needs to retire because it's only what are we doing here? You're a legend, my friend. You fought nothing but the very best. You have had some excellent underdog wins. You have never had to hang your head in any of your brutal losses, even the Triple G fight, and that was brutal. You guys, that was over a decade ago. Do you guys realize that? He needs to just retire. And then we had the again inevitable win of of Morrell Jr. You know, the inevitable win by way of round two it was round fucking one by way of brutal death finish for Morrell Jr., who should fight David Benavidez next. And we might actually get that fight because the Canelo Benavidez, I hope for that one, but that's going to take time. Canelo, as we know, is unfortunately trying to get that Bivol fight. And they're in talks for that. But he's got his John Ryder fight coming up first and then still deciding what happens after that. So I do think that Benavidez stays active and maybe will actually fight this kid. And that will be a hell of a fight. Until next time, loyal fight fans. Glad we could bring the content on a Sunday. The subscriptions, the thumbs. We need them. We love them. I love seeing the new subscribers. Drop it in the comments if you're that new guy who subscribed from the and new MMA show episode that we did. But yeah, I always love talking to you guys. I'd love some more comments in the comment section that we could like questions. Those would be great. Like not even like you need them answered, but maybe to just even ask me my opinion. I'd love the conversation, man. I want to bring back a better kind of boxing community here instead of just like, I like this guy, so you suck because you didn't like that. That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Ask me questions. Ask me about my take. Give me your take. I'll tell you politely if I agree or if I don't, and why I do or I don't. Let's do that. Let's do that instead, you guys.